Ready? All right, hi, my name is Willow, and I'm going to give you a presentation on raising quail. This is kind of brief. It doesn't really give sort of steps on how to raise your quail, but it's kind of the advantages and disadvantages and costs of raising quail. This is something I would like to do because I think it would be a really good experience for me to go through the circle of life with these birds. What I would want to do is I would want to raise them. I could build myself their own little sort of hatch and then sell eggs and fertilized eggs and eventually take up butchering them. I would like to sell their meat because they are a delicacy to eat. So, first slide, benefits. Benefits to raising quail. They are small. They are small birds. They're not super big, so they're not as big as chickens, meaning I can house more. They're quiet, well, quieter than chickens. They make little sounds, but they're not super loud. They actually start laying at 6 weeks old. Isn't that crazy? They're so young. But they start laying then, and they give you about 300 eggs a year. They live to about 1.5 years, 2 years. They also don't take up that much space, depending on how you decide to house them, and because they're small. They do not smell as strong as chickens, believe it or not. Since they're smaller, they don't smell that much. They are easy to raise and hatch. They're a little bit different than raising chickens, but they're easier, for sure. Okay, so the disadvantages. There's only 3 disadvantages that I can come up with to raising quail. The first one is they aren't free range, so they can't just roam around because they can fly away. They cannot be kept near chickens, meaning inside the pen or right next to the chickens, because chickens carry diseases that can easily catch on to quail. And lastly, they're sensitive to change, so I'd have to monitor them during the different season changes to assure that they're not getting sick or dying. But yes, they're sensitive to change, especially weather and temperature. So, cost for raising quail. This is not exact. It's just kind of some things I picked out of the internet. So first, the materials to build or buy a pen would be around $150 or less, depending on how big I want it and where I buy the materials. Feeders and waters could be made or bought for under $15. And I found a place where I can buy a 50-pound bag of food for $23.
How long does that last?
Well, depends on how many quails you have. Quails tend to eat about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons a day.
That's not much.
I know, which is why I think a 50-pound bag for $23 is really good. What's really cool is they also eat mealworms, and I found a really cool way on Pinterest, actually, that you can use like one of those organizers, the plastic organizers with the drawers, and raise mealworms. So I can raise mealworms to feed to my quail. And then LED lighting for good laying. It's probably not that expensive. I can find it online somewhere. They use the LED lights, usually a green color, that result in effective laying of quail. And then there's also a heat lamp, but we already have one, so I was thinking I could use that for when they're younger or during the colder nights and days. I'd also have to find ways to protect them during rain and storms and super, super cold temperatures. But, yeah. Any questions?
So, on a 50-pound bag at that small amount, I mean, how many quail is a $150 pen hold?
That depends on what materials I buy and how big the materials are.
How many quail do you want? And break it down by female and male.
Well, I would want roughly 20 female and maybe 10 male. And I would have to, when I want to breed them, I'd have to put smaller groups in by themselves. So I'd have to keep a pen section open for just breeding.
A breeding pen?
Yeah.
A male pen and then a female laying pen.
Yes. Males and females can be housed together as well.
Where would you put them?
That depends. I'd have to talk to my mom about that and where in the yard I would be able to place them. What's really cool is that I can also sell fertilized eggs at like a farmer's market, and when I keep breeding them and I have chicks, I can sell chicks, and if they're male, I do actually plan to kill them and sell their meat. And same with the females after they get slightly older, but not too old because then the meat isn't as good. So a little bit older, but not too old. You actually can, their butchering size about 7 weeks old. So you could kill them then. I've watched many, many, many tutorials on how to do that. And we have a homeschool